bienvenidos a mi show. Welcome to Catching Up with Claudia. Now, ojalá que se puedan quedar hasta el final para que puedan escuchar lo que va a compartir mi invitada o mi invitado. Así es que no se les olvide también de seguirnos por las redes sociales. Estamos en todas las plataformas. Hasta luego. Hola, ¿cómo están? How are you doing? I just took a sip of my tea, but I'm going to take another sip because I really love my mug here. It has one of my sheroes. You might not recognize her, but this is old Ann Richards, I think the only woman governor we had here in Texas. But let me take a little sip before we start. All right, so welcome to the live stream and recording of La Super Comadre Claudia and the Claudia Macias podcast. Now, if you're joining me for the first time, well, this is just a time and space to share ideas, share what I'm up to, share invited guests to have amazing things to share, maybe a platform, maybe an organization, maybe a movement. And it's all for the benefit of humankind. Now, you may not always agree with what I say or what I share, but that's okay because you can always turn it off. But even if you don't agree, stick around. I don't know. You might walk away with some new information or some information, or you might walk away, I don't know, even more mad, but that's okay. So if you're new here, once again, welcome. I'm a mom. My background is education. My 9 to 5 is the mental health space. So that's the work I do. And boy, do I need it myself these days. Been a teacher, been an administrator, worked with many students in many districts. Love doing that. And a little bit more about me. I love to take naps now. You know, if you've been following, I'm in my cincuentañera era, meaning I turned 50 already. And all of a sudden I get really tired and I need naps. Now I understand why my aunts and uncles and my parents, when I was younger, they would get together like for family gatherings. And next thing you know, they would fall asleep on the couch. Well, now I'm experiencing that. So I love taking little naps here and there. I love to dance. I love music. That is what keeps me going day in and day out. So welcome. And for those of you that know me, welcome back. All right. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to the amazing Liliana Elizondo, who is behind Radio Cristal USA. She is always creating new things and ways for us to promote. And she created this really cool app or button that you push or you click on, and it takes you to like my page of some sort with all of the recordings of past shows. And I think it's so amazing. So if you haven't had a chance to watch some of the past shows, you know, click on them. You might be surprised. There's a lot of people in there that I've interviewed, and it was really cool to go back in time and see it because right now I'm doing what I can to stay sane. You know, it just seems a little upside downish right now. I don't know if y'all have seen that show Stranger Things. I never watched the whole thing, but I remember hearing about the upside down, and I just feel like we're in the upside down right now. I'm not going to mention like what's been happening because you've been keeping up with the news, but yeah. And there's some things that are being shared by this current administration. I'm not going to even name the person. I'll just say the person in the White House, and that's it. That's how they're going to get. And I just kind of befuddled. I don't even know if that's a word, but that's what I'm feeling right now. But you know, doing this show, doing this podcast, bringing people on brings me joy. So I am committing to not letting my joy be stolen and continuing to elevate stories and people and amazing events and, you know, connections, because that's what we need right now. We need to connect with ourselves, connect with each other, and find joy and push through these dark, crazy, befundling that I think just made up a new word, times. So so that's where I'm at, you know, and being, you know, guys, you know, I've been sharing also about my menopause journey. And this is something that every woman goes through. Okay. So I'm also sharing this platform on my platform, sharing this because it's got to be known that, you know, we all go through that. different variations, of course. I got hit with everything that has to do with menopause, and not just hot flashes, but everything in the book. But, I'm in my cincuentañera, my hot flash era. And, I just forgot what I was going to talk about. That's actually part of going through menopause, is that you forget what you're going to say. Well, oops. Well, anyways. Yeah. So about that, I forgot what I was going to say, but anywho, welcome. Oh gosh, what was I going to say? It was really good. Okay, never mind. It'll come to my head, and at some point it'll pop out of my mouth, and that's part of being in menopause. But anywho, oh, I remember now. I never thought that in my wildest dreams or visions or future thoughts that I would be sitting in a current administration that we're in, raising 2 teen girls that were born during Obama's presidency, because I have 2 Latinitas, and for them to be born during his administration, all I thought about was how amazingly the opportunities were going to be for everyone, not just the people that have always been in power per se, or the majority of the people in power, but that I gave birth during a time when I was like, yes, this is someone that, is in the community, or I'm close to this community, an African-American person. And I'm like, and we're little brown people. So yes. And so I never thought that I would be sitting in the time that I am now, worried about my girls' future. Not so much of their educational ability or are able to get into a program, but just, well, maybe even that, but their safety. That I'm going to have to make sure that my girls can not only defend themselves verbally, academically, but also physically, and have a thick, almost like I have to make sure they have a thick skin, because they will hear things and they will experience things that are connected to what's being said right now and what's being portrayed. That there are people that are disappearing, that are being taken from their homes, taken from their jobs, because they're undocumented. And even then they look undocumented, and now they can take people because they look like me and then question me later. Now I never thought that I was going to be worried about something like that. But here we are. But you know what? I'm still not going to let it steal my joy, because all I can do is just prepare them to continue doing the good work and fighting and moving forward and doing what they need to do the work that they're meant to do while they're here on this planet. So I have some show sponsors. So drum roll, please. Liliana, bring up my show sponsors, because I want to share the amazing Chris Vignon with his media studios. If you need to get some pictures done, please contact him. He does all of my work. He works with you. He has fabulous ideas, and he always has art openings as well. So go ahead and check him out and book him for your needs. And my other sponsor is Ilsa's Glam Boutique. So she's always glamming me up. She's always giving me, stuff to wear, whether it's bracelets or rings or earrings. And I don't have any of it on right now. But typically when I go out for an event, I'll put it on. But get glammed up by Ilsa's Glam Boutique. She has pop-up boutiques that show up all over town. Just follow her on Ilsa's Glam Boutique page, and that way you know how to go and find her and get glammed up. And also another one is Cookie Face Cosmetics. Now, yes, I have her stuff on. She is always making sure that I'm set up. She mails me items. She mails me eyelashes, lip glosses to try. And her cosmetics line is growing. So go ahead and get yourself glowed up by Cookie Face Cosmetics. And Men Awake. If you are going through menopause, or you have a loved one that is your wife, your auntie, your cousin, your prima, your somebody that's a woman that might be going through that, connect them with Men Awake. I use their products too. I use it all. All right. So those are my show sponsors. Now, speaking of keeping my joy and staying focused on the prize, which is hopefully we will take care of all of the doings that have been happening under this administration. We will undo it, but undo it for the better of all people, not just one side, not just blue side, not just red side, green side, whatever, but making sure that as we move forward, that you guys know who's running for what, who do we vote for, but also, keeping up with what's going on, because I know there's a lot going on, but I just want to continue, using my platform to bring on people, to bring on ideas, to bring on, um, stories that you need to follow. So I want to bring on my first guest, which is someone that I love listening to. Well, I'm not really listening to him, but I guess I listen to him in my head. But Danny Norris, come on in. I want you to come back because you are a returning super compadre. You've been on before because we did some work with Leadership Houston. So come on in, Danny. Welcome to the stage. There he is. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time to share what you're up to, what you're doing, and why we should follow you. So, last time we talked,
Yeah, I think last time I think we were in the studio, and I believe we even did a
yes,
segment with our shoes off, if I
yes,
remember
we
right.
did. We were doing shoeless segments.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so I don't have my shoes off this time, but maybe by the end of the program I'll kick them off. But
I'm already comfy. My shoes came off a long time ago.
but yeah, yes, I'm Danny Norris. I am a former, actually, Claudia and I met through Leadership Houston.
Yes.
I'm a former county school board member for the Harris County Department of Education, and Claudia and I have actually worked, talked, and had some discussions in that space, in the education space as well. But I resigned from that seat to run for state rep because apparently county officials, there's a law about county officials can't run against state officials. So I'm running for
Ah,
state rep for the Texas House District 142, which is basically the northeast side of town. Goes from the east edge of downtown from Fifth Ward out to about Lake Houston. So it goes as high as 1960s, low as just under I-10 on this side of town, and goes. It's shaped like a big weird donkey. All these districts are shaped really strange. I think our other guest here will tell you what hers is shaped like. But yeah, it's shaped like that. But I'm a lawyer by day. I'm a lawyer by day. I'm a Chicago native, born in Chicago, went to middle school, high school in Arlington, came to Houston for undergrad, law school
mm-hmm.
almost 30 years ago now. So I've been here since the late 90s and found my footing here, met my wife in law school. We have kids. We moved to the northeast side of town to get some more real estate because the houses were cheaper over there.
Uh-huh.
And, we have settled in, and I decided to do things, and that's why I joined the school board, and that's why I decided to run for state rep. I ran for school board because I felt like I could do more. I
Mm-hmm.
think similar to this time, it was a crazy time back in 2016, 2017. I guess this was 2017 when I decided I was
Mm-hmm.
going to run for it. It was a crazy time like now for
Yeah.
similar reasons. Uh,
which is why
and
I titled this "The Politics of Running and Staying Sane."
yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so you've been in it many years now, 2016, 2017. Here we are again with this upside down. I
Hmm.
feel for me,
Hmm.
right? I'm not going
Hmm.
to speak for you.
Hmm.
How do you continue staying, I guess, positive or in faith or hopeful as you step into this run?
Well, I mean, the alternative is to give up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not an option. We still have to live. We still have to, so to me, the option is, well, things could definitely be better. Ideally, there would be some things, but then maybe if that be the case, maybe I wouldn't have got as motivated to run. So, I mean, this is a
Mm-hmm.
two-edged sword. So, somebody has to do the work that of the people, and I felt like, now was a good time of any. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I have felt like I had way too many skills just to be sitting on my couch and or be in a text message or a social media warrior just to talk trash
Yeah.
on Facebook or Instagram. So I decided to put my skills to the betterment of my community, and try to do work in these different spaces to help the community and make sure that we are a better community together. And to
Mm-hmm.
your point, like, I am I have been elected Democrat before, and I'm running as a Democrat, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, ultimately, I think I agree with you that we really should be working for the betterment of everybody. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is the I completely disagree with what's going on right now on a number of the things on the other side of the aisle. But ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
we no matter what color or which side of the aisle you're on. We all want a better life for ourselves, for our kids.
Yeah.
We all want, opportunity for growth and for empowerment,
Yeah.
and for development. So that.
So with that in mind, I don't want to cut you off, but you got a lot of the, I'm going to call them the red hatters. That's all I'm
Hmm.
going to say.
Hmm.
How do you present or share or put out a message for, maybe not for them to say, hey, look, we have more in common than with the other person, and then that group, as well as the ones that decided not to vote, the ones that decided to give up and cover themselves over their, or let me say, put their head in the sand
Hmm.
and not realize that voting or not voting for a certain candidate
Hmm.
got us to where we're at today. So how do you round them up? Maybe that's not a good set of words. How do you bring them in
Hmm.
to say, hey, look, this is what I got for all of us?
Hmm.
Or is that a possibility? Does that exist?
It is. I think what we do get lost on the culture wars, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
we get tied up on we get tied up on things like race or gender or gender identity, whatever we find these issues and these wedge issues. They start talking about things like abortion and things like that. Everybody that
Mm-hmm.
these issues that people fall very different sides of, but ultimately, like I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately those issues are in our daily lives are not the biggest issues. Our daily issues typically like, okay, I need to put gas in this car, I need to put food on the table, I need to eat. I think we all need to eat. So I mean, those are things that we need to do on a daily basis. I think
Yeah.
I don't wake up thinking I gotta be black, or I gotta be
Yeah.
straight, or I gotta be whatever. I gotta be a Democrat. I just wake up
Yeah.
thinking I need to eat, or I need to pay a bill, or I need to make sure that we have a place to live.
Yeah.
And that becomes the focus of what's really important versus whatever culture war that
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people like us to join. There's a history for that. I think a lot of people don't realize that, once upon a time, before race was an issue, I think it was realized that, wait a minute, these poor people are poor, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what race you are, and not being able to buy anything is an issue. So no matter if you were poor and black, poor and white, poor and whatever, poor and native, I think in the colonial days, that when they realized, wait a minute, but all these people kind of teamed up and said, wait a minute, we're poor and they're not, and they are hoarding all the resources, and they had a rebellion, and
Mm-hmm.
after that it became okay, well, let's stratify this society a little bit. We're going to make it where we're going to give a little bit of rights to these people and less rights to these people, and we're going to let them fight it out, and meanwhile we're going to kind of just collect the top of this.
Yeah. Yeah. From the top.
Right.
So which is when you talked about in social media earlier, right? And being a warrior on the keyboard. I do follow, and I love what I'm seeing when you put, so this week. And I think it's super important how you condense that information and just put it out there, because, and I almost feel like you need to make, or someone in your team needs to make some stuff that we could read and digest easily and quickly, because we need to be reminded
Hmm.
of that. And how do you bring this information that could be unifying,
Hmm.
because you're right, it's like, I'm tired of us showing up to a fight with a pen and
Hmm.
with poetry and with with I guess with lots too many words,
Right.
versus how do we come to the fight, not with a little bit of fire and a
Hmm.
little bit of, like, knocking you upside the head in a way, but in a good way.
Right.
Because what we're seeing right now is so many years of hearing the same, of a group hearing the same message over and over and over and over and over, and
Hmm.
they were very successful. So it's like, how do we make sure that we can put out our message? Like you said, it's all about housing and healthcare, and look, we're all in the same boat.
Right.
We're all needing the same things. How do we do that, and making sure that everybody gets included, even people that are uh, love who they love, as you would
Right.
say.
Right.
um, but I'm going to bring in another candidate, and I want for her to join the conversation. We're going to get to know Desiree Klaus. She is also a returning Super Comadre. And I loved how you guys were both talking and networking before we started. So come on down. I want you to make your way because you two are also running. I'm gonna give you a spotlight a little bit so you can share a little bit about you. Welcome back. Who are you? Reintroduce yourself, and then what are you running for? So go and take it away, Desiree.
Hey, Claudia, thank you so much. So my name is Desiree Martinez Klaus, and yes, I am candidate running for Texas House Rep 128. You might ask where that's at. So just to let y'all know, that's over here in Baytown, Texas area, close to also Crosby, Huffman, Deer Park, LaPorte. So if you live anywhere near those areas, you're in District 128, if you didn't know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to running. This is my first time running. I am not a politician, nor do I know how to run a race. So I'm just like, using all of my skills and my background and work that I've done in community building and advocacy, and also my foundation through my parents as well, who have also been in advocacy and community building as well. So I'm going in head first, as we do sometimes, as Latinas do sometimes, and making sure that our community is educated and elevated and informed. And like you said, feeling a little hopeful, not feeling like we're being dragged down by all of these things that are coming at us. So thank you so much, Claudia, for having me.
Yes. Well, welcome back. I love how I've watched you grow. I watched you grow your own, media, organization, and now, seeing that you drove all the way to Austin to give your voice to the hearings. And when I saw you do that, I'm like, okay, this is phenomenal. And it reignited me, like, okay, what can, what could I do? Okay, what I do best is I put people on a platform so that other people get to know them. And so, just a little, just like what I asked, Danny, and I loved how you guys were talking before we started, but I asked him because the topic is the politics of running and staying sane during this time. What do you do to continue doing the work, getting up? I know you're also a mom and a partner. You got your wife. So how do you do it all?
Yeah,
what do you do for you? Yeah.
Well, I think what entrepreneurship has taught me and being a small business owner has taught me is that, we have to fill our cups up first. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to jump into putting my name in this race, putting my hat in the race, I knew that I was going to have to create some type of new self-care plan, something new for myself. And so I actually got a trainer. I have a personal trainer right now, and I'm working out 3 days a week by myself, though. He's guiding me. He's helping me. I know how to do the weights and all that fun stuff, but I've kind of committed to myself at least 3 days out of the week to take care of my body, my health, my mind, because I am a mom. And so sometimes I will run until the tank is empty and I will forget to fuel my cup and to fuel my engine. And so I have to put it on the calendar. I have to put it on the to-do list per se. And so that's what I've been doing right now. Other than, staying informed, right? Yeah. That can be draining, but taking that time, just an hour. I told my trainer, I said, I don't need to be working out 2 hours a day. I need just like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And that's what I do. So just an hour, 3 days a week. And it has some weeks have been harder than others. I'm not going to lie. But when I do get in there and I stay consistent, it's great. And I just encourage anybody who's going through just life right now.
Yeah.
Through these political times, like make sure to go walk, spend times with your kids, read them a book, do things that maybe you wouldn't typically do all the time to kind of like feel like you're human again to some
Absolutely.
extent.
It's so needed. Thank you for reminding me, because that's my space, and that's all about what can you do to take care of yourself, and whatever work you do, right? And whether you're running for office or you're running a business or you're running a household or you're running after whoever is part of your home, is what are you doing to stop for you? And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions as far as like, what inspired you? What was that pivotal moment where you're like, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to run for office.
Yeah.
What was that moment?
Well, you mentioned earlier about me driving to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't know if I was going to even like what was my purpose, right? What was my call? I was having this calling per se, being pulled into this direction, and I felt like, okay, let's go to Austin. It was spontaneous. I left, made the decision in one day, less than 24 hours, drove. Luckily, I have family that lives in Austin, so I had a place to stay. Got there, figured out how to register, all that crazy stuff, to testify. And I had to like slow down for a second and realize, man, everything is just like the doors were just like opening. I was able to be one of the 50 people inside the main area for the chambers. And it was just like so weird. Like it felt so easy. Like, why is this so easy? Right. I got to also meet some amazing people while I was there. And I waited 10 or 11 hours to speak. I got there at 8:30 in the morning. I did not speak until close to 9:30 at night.
Oh my goodness. Now for those that are new to this, you were testifying on, real quick,
the redistricting
maps. And we're going to, in a little bit, I'm going to bring in Danny, because y'all were having a really good conversation about something that might be happening, might not be happening. And y'all were even comparing your own current maps. But so you had the chance to go. So was that moment where you're like, okay, I
just felt like, I'm a big spiritual person. I am religious. I believe in, I'm a believer. So I felt like if it's meant to be, right, if this is my pathway, then the light is going to guide me. And it truly did. And so when I did have a moment of weakness there towards the last hour, I told my mom, I don't know if I can wait much longer. I'm very hungry. I'm very tired. All of those things that we go through our own personal journeys, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I just got to wait until my name's called. I just have to wait. And my name got called, and oh my God, it was such a relief. And it was such a relief too, because my town, Baytown, the town that I have grown up and lived in and was raised in, was mentioned during that chamber, during that meeting. So I said, I'm supposed to be here. I'm representing my community. I'm supposed to be here. And so it wasn't really necessarily even the next day or within that moment that I knew. I just knew that, like, okay, if I'm even thinking about this right now, this is my time. You have to, and you have to strike sometimes when the iron is hot, and this is my time to do so. And I tell people, you can't wait. It's like anything, for a job, for a new house, for a child. There's never going to be the right time, right? So I don't know nothing about running for politics or when the right time to decide, but I just knew that it shouldn't be this easy to some extent, but it was feeling very easy. Now it has gotten harder as this journey has progressed, but I just know that this is where I'm supposed to be. Cool. And I really feel like if it wasn't meant for me, it wouldn't be. And I'm so glad it is, because I've been able to really hone in on those things that I'm so passionate about, right? The things that I love. And so I'm very grateful. And the day that I decided to tell my mom, she was like, huh? Like,
I'm surprised. I know your mom. I'm surprised she didn't say, oh, okay. I would expect that.
She did, but she wasn't really sure. She's like, she knows I'm passionate, just like she is, about community and politics. But she was like, are you sure about this? And I said, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. And I had those conversations also with my husband, my in-laws, my kids. And I said, hey, like, I mean, this is kind of where I'm at right now. Like, and they gave me their feedback, but they kind of also knew, like, oh, it's a train that's moving, and we're going to have to just hold on.
And the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, because I know your mom was a leader herself.
Yes.
Making sure that she was stepping up and standing up for those that needed a voice.
Yes.
So she shouldn't be surprised.
She shouldn't be, but
still.
I think verbalizing it, right? And
Yeah.
and then realizing like, oh wow, okay. Because she never really wanted to get into politics either. And you know, one of the moments that was really impactful to me, that is kind of related to this journey, was I was at the Texas Monthly Taco Fest this summer, and it's just a wonderful event, a cultural event, eating tacos, all that fun stuff. And I saw the Mexican flag. Oh, like I have the Texas flag here, right?
Yeah.
But I saw the Mexican flag there, and it made me think of all of the people that were in fear of their life.
Yeah.
Just being in the presence of our community. And so for me, it really impacted me seeing that flag and saying, you know what? I'm not going to let fear define my community anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a third generation Mexican American, and I'm no longer going to let fear hold us back.
Yes.
Because we have to fight. And even more so now, as you said, we're in this upside down.
Yeah.
And this might sound a little too crazy for some, but our democracy is getting taken away from us bit by bit every day.
Which right there, hold that thought. I want to bring in Danny now into this conversation.
Yes.
Our democracy is being taken away day by day. Danny, okay, now I'm going to open this up because I have a question for both of you. Are we in a constitutional crisis now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I feel like we haven't sounded the alarms as loud as we should. Are we being overshadowed by the rally that happened in Arizona last week? I don't know what that was by the Red Hatters. Well, what's happening that we're not? Am I missing something? Am I not paying attention to the news enough? But I feel like we are in a constitutional crisis.
Well,
go Danny.
Go ahead. So we've allowed a few things to happen. Well, first of all, I think when the Supreme Court ruled last year, that basically in so many words, the president was pretty much immune from anything. It's like this administration kind of came in with the idea that we're going to just do whatever, and if it sticks, it doesn't stick, we don't care. So it's like we don't care about.
They're just throwing whatever at.
Oh yeah, we don't care about rights. We don't care about any of those things. So it is a matter of what are you going to do? We're immune from everything basically. So if we deport you and you're a citizen, whatever. If we don't give you due process, whatever. If we don't give you your First Amendment, Second Amendment, we don't give you any of your rights. We don't like you, whatever. And it has been a complete circus. And I mean, the courts are somewhat holding a little bit on some of these things. Some of the blatant disregards are being kind of reeled back a little bit. But I mean, at this point, there's really nothing from the administration basically saying, well, we're going to just do it, and see us later. What are you going to do? So
wow.
It's a very interesting time that we just have a very emboldened administration right now. It's like, and they basically feel they can do whatever, and there's not many points of pressure that are people or groups that are willing to stand up. They're gonna basically tell universities, we're gonna want you to do this, or we're gonna strip your funding. And what else are you gonna do?
So we're being we're not hijacked. What's the word? We're like when they take you hostage. Desiree, yeah. Thoughts on this, Desiree?
It's been held hostage at the whims of this administration. They are trying to reformat it in whatever they see fit. They don't care about the norms. They don't care about the law. They don't care about any of it. They're just saying, we want this. We want this to, we want to deport anybody that is of, I think they said they're basically saying
looks or has an accent or works at a job.
Or looks like they have a lower income job.
They need to go ahead and be honest. I think sometimes it slips out and just say, we just want some white people. Look here, we don't care about and people who believe. They just need to go and say it. There aren't so many words. They say, I think even the young man who I won't even bring his name up, but it may give you some more views. But I think even he had some statements about like first world, no immigrants from non-first world. So basically saying no black and brown countries.
We can mention it. I'll just say that person that had a rally /memorial/funeral that I don't understand. That's why I talk about the upside down, is how do we right side this up?
Claudia, I wanted to share what you were talking about. Thank you, Danny, for sharing the legal side, because yes, that's super important. I think there's a lot of people that don't even really get the concept of, our freedoms and our rights are just being completely stripped away. And legally, that's important. But the messaging side, right? The part where you're talking about, well, how are people just not understanding, right? It's because we are trying to make things too nice and too pretty when we just need to say what it is.
Say what it is.
Say what it is. It is. They are fascists. They are far right, conservative Christians. These things are just who they are, and they have no problems telling us who we are. Well, we need to tell them who they are. And so they are not representing our democracy. They are not representing our community in any way. And I know Danny, I'm sure, feels the same way I feel about our democracy. He values it. He cherishes it. And so when the community members out there, people watching on media or whatever, or TV, they say, "Oh, you're being, crazy, or you're talking crazy, or you're too radical." No, we're not too radical, because that's what's happening on the other side. And so we have to just call it what it is, let them know who they are, because they don't mind telling us who we are. And we have to also educate our community more and let them know, hey, these are your rights. You were born here. You have these rights to say no. You have these rights to speak up. And when have we ever wanted a king to be our leader of this country? I have never, I've never heard of that. And so I think it's just really important to maybe have some really great conversation one-on-one with some people as well. The keyboard warriors and all those people, they can fight all day long they want. I'm not going to entertain any of that.
I agree with that. But for both of you, what I'm going to share is we have lost a lot of voters to the manosphere, especially young men, especially young white men, and we've also lost even people in the Catholic religion who were swept up by that one issue, abortion issue. We've lost. So how do we get back? How do we message? How do we take, do we use our playbook, but we flip it around? What are we doing so we can make sure that they are educated, like you said, educated in a quick way, educated in the ways that people are connecting to the information? We know that they're connecting through things like this podcast, through memes, through short little pieces on TikTok. How do we do that? Because as I was driving home today, I'm like, what happened to high school government classes?
Right.
What happened to telling students civics classes, this is a branch of government, this is what it means, and this is because one thing that I keep
Schoolhouse Rock. Remember
Schoolhouse Rock? Should we bring it back? Because one thing I hear, and I wrote it right here, is, well, what freedoms are you losing? I hear that a lot.
Just the freedom to have an opinion. We saw it first off with Jimmy Kimmel just speaking a statement, not even really attacking anybody. And I think as far as the messaging goes, having those conversations in person, we like Danny had mentioned previously, we all want the freedom to have a good paying job, to have the opportunities, to be able to have affordable healthcare, to be able to have healthcare, have those same opportunities as anybody else. So it's a matter about just having those simple conversations of do you have a job? Oh, no, you don't. Okay. Well, if you do, are you getting paid well? No. Okay. Well, can you afford healthcare? Those things, because we all want those things. Like Danny said, we want those things. And those are the core to our survival, the core to where we are going to grow as a community. And if we are going to start if the billionaires are going to start taking away from our community, from the working class community, then we are at a loss.
Yeah.
And I can't relate to billionaires. So I don't understand when some of these conversations that are being had, people are defending billionaires.
Yes. So how do we break that spell? I guess you said conversations. Okay, conversations with the community. Are you going to have open forums? Are you going to invite like, hey, y'all are all welcome, but at the same time, you got to be careful because you got some crazies out there. Conversations with the folks, I guess, but also once you get into your position, what is that going to look like? Are you going to have conversations across the aisle? Because that doesn't seem to be something they do. They just go full force with what they got to do. It doesn't matter who is going to get knocked over, drugged by or kicked to the side or disappeared, because apparently I just found out today that all those folks that were rounded up and taken to Alligator Albatross are now missing and they're disappeared. They don't know where they're at. They have no records. So we are living in a time where I would hear about things like this in countries in South America, where people would go
third world countries.
Yeah, third world, where people would be disappeared by their government, never to be found again. So is it how do and that's just it. And maybe we can't answer it now, but just keeping that in mind is keeping the folks that are comfortable at home on the daily, and maybe that it affected right away. How do we light that fire too? Because another podcast I listened to today, I listened to Pod Save America. And the guest they had on said to the person that was being the host, how does it look like for us, with this fight? Well, we recover. And she wrote about, this type of thing about what's happening now. And she said, well, look, I don't know how we're going to come out of this, because at least in the past, during the civil rights movement, on both sides of the aisle, you had people that were for civil rights. Now you just have one group on one side, and that is it. There's no almost a voice of reason.
Right.
So I'm excited for you to step into this fight and to continue fighting. I'm excited to elevate your voices and to see us here, us three. This is what people in power are afraid of. To see you and I, a Macias, a Norris, a Martinez Klaus, and it's powerful to me, because we have the capacity to be able to uplift and to put out our messages. And so I know I just went on a little talky talk, but I was just like, how are you going to work with those conversations when you get into the office? Because I'm already speaking it to the universe. Either one. I mean, when you have
like
to,
are you going to? Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier,
go for it, Danny.
There's way more that unites us than divides us. We just keep forgetting that because we keep getting thrown into the things that really don't matter. I think that it's worth going back into. I mean, I abhor a lot of the things that are being promoted or being divisive. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's about, we all can relate on. I want opportunity for myself, and I want opportunity for my kids. I think that's universal. Or if you don't have kids, maybe for your family, your niece, nephew, cousins, whoever. We all want opportunity, and we don't want anything that potentially hinders that opportunity. And I think that's realizing that actually, like I think Desiree was basically saying, this is if we're really paying attention, all these little cultural war issues are being thrown around. Meanwhile, the billionaires are getting their tax cuts. So they like us fighting. We're fighting over the scraps, and they're getting huge cuts. And they're like, well, y'all can fight all you want. I just got $1 billion tax cut. I'm feeling great. So, I mean, and meanwhile, we're fussing about which bathroom who's going to go into and all these other things that at a daily basis, like, and it's like, that's the real issue. I know people from all the communities, and it's like on a daily basis, everybody's worried about opportunity and ability to move forward and to be able to live the way they want to live and to pursue whatever dream they have. That's what people want to do. Do we want to argue over everything that divides us? I don't think so. Generally, I think it needs to be everybody's identity. I think that should be recognized. I think I get irritated when people act like well, we shouldn't worry about this. Like, no, I mean, when people say I don't, you shouldn't worry about race. Like, well, when people say I don't see race, well, if a guy says that, I'm like, well, what if I didn't see you as a man? Like all these are all very fundamental aspects of us. At the end of the day, it's not no one thing defines us, but it's all part of us. And I think we should celebrate all of our uniqueness and be able to live out life fully. And I think that's the idea. And how do we do it? It's going to take a lot of education, because clearly we have not done it properly. Where we are, I think that was one of the other reasons I decided. I was like, well, clearly we're not educating people very well to end up in this situation where we think this is the best route. We kind of find ourselves here. How can we have done better? So clearly we need a better education campaign. And it's going to be, it's going to realize, I don't know if America needs to hit rock bottom before we get to the point where we realize maybe we need to.
I know. I mean, I don't know. We're not there.
Don't say that, Danny.
I mean,
you mean this is not rock bottom yet?
Every time I think it is, we keep
right. There's another level.
Like,
another level gets opened up. We're like in a game, like a video game or something. Like, oh God, could we go even lower?
Like, oh no, never mind. Wait, let me not.
Hold my beer. It's like, hold my beer. Here's something else.
Yeah. And I'm the eternal optimist, by the way. I'm always like, well,
me too.
I'm an optimist, so it's like, but I'm like, man, have we seem to keep like being a glutton for punishment. So maybe does it not hurt bad enough yet? Because I feel like we really do need to have a come, so the old black folks would say, come to Jesus moment.
Jesus,
we need to realize, like, this is not working. Whatever we're doing here is not working for us. It's working for other people. It's working for some people, but not us.
The thing is that even the ones that are following the red hatter mentality or the orange one, it's not working for them. No. Like if you ask them when they say, "Oh yeah, we're winning," what are you winning? Just because people are rounded up, you're winning. It's just a feeling, and that's it. Because they're gonna, if they got insurance through a company, they're about to get slapped with some high premiums. So you're not winning.
I think that's half of it. It's like Danny said about hitting rock bottom. It's always like anything. It doesn't affect us until it hits our home, right? So once your light bill starts going higher, your water bill, your grocery bill, your insurance bills, all those things start to go up, then people are like, wait a minute. And for me, I just know that, like, I'm an entrepreneur, so my income is very unstable at times. I am trying to get contracts and clients and all this fun stuff. And so I can't imagine also, having to be a single mom. I'm not a single mom, thankfully, but at the same time, there are a lot of single moms out there that are living off of one income, and they can't make it. They can't get the benefits that they need for their families and their children. So how does that seem fair that the billionaires get the tax cuts, but yet single moms can't even get the opportunity to have affordable childcare so they can work?
A good thing.
Yeah. It's not even about like, so they can go out or do something. No, it's about working. And then if they can't get a good paying job, right? They have to get maybe a part-time job or a retail job, something that's going to be beneficial to their schedule. And I think we just have to start talking like real talk to some extent.
Okay.
And the culture wars, yes, like Danny said, they're gonna try to bombard us with all that. And we have to just be real. And last election, they really doubled down that, that good old person in the office right now, so-called president, was going to lower the grocery bills and lower the egg prices and do all these things. Okay, I'm still waiting.
Yeah, but we know. But here's my thing. But it was never about the price of eggs.
Right, but that's what they ran on.
That's what they ran on, so they can get the Project 2025 in.
Yeah, and so like I said, we have to stop. We have to stop letting them tell us though that we are all about the culture wars when we're not. We care about the regular working class community, the working class families, and yes, there are going to be some things that maybe we disagree on, but at the end of the day, I just want to be able to, I don't want my light bill to be $500 or $600. And right now my light bill is going up.
So is mine.
And I'm not too happy about it right now.
Yes.
So, for instance, insurance is open enrollment's about to come. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about that.
Yeah.
Because I have a family that we have insurance, and it's already really tight to be able to pay for those insurance premiums. I don't know. Like, am I the only one feeling this way? Like, because I want people to understand, like, hey, I have these same problems like you do. Just because we're running for an office doesn't mean we don't have any problems. We're just tired of it, and we're just tired of the people that are saying that they're doing things and they're not.
And look, I just want to do a couple of shout outs here. We have Amanda Rodriguez, yay for Desiree Klaus for Texas, single mom here. And we have Linda Duran, OMG, tell me about it. Me as a broker, I'm scared for my clients. So we're hearing, we're at 7:53. We have a few minutes left, but I wanted just to recap, because this is not the last of us doing this. I'm going to want to do this again and bring other candidates, from different, and it's not about having a debate. I don't know. I'd rather not put candidates who are running in the same place or the same position. But I'm a big firm believer of, we need to be educated. We need to know who is running and why they're running. And another thing is, when you come across someone that says, I don't want to vote, doesn't even matter. Danny and then Desiree, what would you tell that person in closing? I think Danny's frozen a little bit. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Did you hear the question? Okay. Testing 1, 2, testing 1. Okay.
It got stuck. I'm sorry. So yeah, we go. I'm sorry. It got stuck. Okay. So why am I running? So the short.
No. I'm sorry. The question is, Danny.
I'm with.
Oh, hold on. It's a little bit of a lag. No, in closing, if I wanted to each of you share when you're out there and you come across a person that could vote and they say, I didn't vote last time. Why should I vote? It doesn't even matter. What are your words to that person?
It does matter. There's a saying that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. When you vote, you're at the table. You are able to make sure, and trust me, the elected officials who make the decisions for billions of dollars, millions, billions on the local, state, and federal level, they know the voters, and they know who moves the needle. So if you happen to be one of those who are moving the needle, they will notice, and they will make a way. So it's very much does make a difference. There's so many decisions that are made. Just because you don't see it and they don't advertise it, they affect you. So I would definitely say you definitely want to be at the table and not on the menu. So definitely take advantage. So but yeah, that is usually the one of the big things. The people who make the decisions, you want to make sure that you are able to say, I am your voter, and I need, and these are the things that I need for my community, and they will listen. But if you say, well, I don't even vote, why does this matter? That means you're just telling them you're on the menu, as opposed to being a decision maker.
All right. Thank you, Danny. And Desiree, what would you say to that voter that's like, I'd rather go stick my head in the sand?
Yeah, right. So I actually had the opportunity to go listen to James Tallarico, and I think he said it best. He said somebody had told him this about, well, I don't care about politics. And he said, well, politics cares about you. Everything that is involved in politics, people don't know, from your health insurance, from your car insurance, from your school districts, from everything that you do in life, even buying those eggs at the grocery store. Politics are involved. And so you want to be involved too, right? If they're caring about what you want and what you need and what you are putting out there, then you should care a little bit, right? Just even a little bit. And I think at the end of the day, we have to get away from this complacency of like, somebody knows better than me. That's not true. Okay. I don't know someone's personal life better than theirs. I just don't. And so we have to take ownership of that. And we have to say, hey, maybe I'm struggling. Are you struggling? Because, and maybe they are and they don't want to share, but because they're too concerned or scared. But I think once we get down to just talking to regular people like me and Danny and just letting them know, like, hey, we care. We're going through the same similar struggles. Then it's important to just listen and give that opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Well, maybe if I had someone like you, maybe I would open up a little bit more. Maybe I would actually care a little bit more. And I know for me, specifically in my district, representation has been lacking. I can't go to my representative and just say, hey, I really don't like when you do these things. Is there how can we meet a middle ground, right? There's not even that conversation happening. And so I think we have to just continue to stay optimistic.
Yes.
Continue to stay resolute as well and say, hey, we're not here to tell you to wear red or tell you to wear red or wear blue. We're here to tell you that you matter, you have opportunities, you have goals for your family, just like I do. How can we work together? How can we do this together? Because it is going to take the whole community, the whole village to make a change.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Danny. And in closing, I just want to say this is not the first time we're going to have you both together. We're going to have you back. I'll bring other candidates. And I just want to close with this. Some things that were resonating with me were we need to have real talk. We need to have that come to Jesus talk. I heard if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So make sure you vote and show up and say, I am your voter. This is what I need you to do for me. I heard about what James said, Tallarico, politics cares about you, that everything is political, from the water you drink to the egg you fry to the road you drive on. And I think we need to stop saying that piece where I don't want to talk about politics. Well, you know what? Everything is politics. The job you have, the insurance premium you pay, the road you're on, the milk you give to your toddler in a sippy cup. It is all political.
The tariffs that those small businesses have to pay right now.
That's right. And I've been taking pictures of the different signs that are now at different restaurants that say the increase of price is due to tariffs. And I think that has to do with education. I love how you said earlier, it's about educating our community. Continue putting your stuff out there, Danny, like the way you do, letting us know what's up. It's so concise, it's so precise, it's just right there. Desiree, continue using your platforms and going out there and doing your thing. I've watched you grow your business, and I'm excited to see you now step into this role. And I hope you and Danny continue to connect and exchange ideas, because this right here, it's stronger. We're stronger together. What is that? What was that? We're stronger together. We're united. We're stronger. We're better, stronger, something like that. Okay. My menopause is kicked in right now, so I can't remember the quote. We're stronger together.
Yeah. And well, me and Danny found out that we're neighboring districts, so hey, it's good to know that I have somebody that gets what I'm going through as well in this district, in this race. And so educating our community is definitely a priority for all of us, and just making sure that, hey, like you said, stronger together. We cannot do this alone, y'all.
No.
I nobody can do anything alone. We have to work together to accomplish our goals.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Danny and then Desiree, how can people follow you, Danny, if they need a campaign for you, give you some money, want to connect with you?
Yes. Danny Norris, 4tx.com.
All right. Desiree.
You can find me on all my social media, which is Desiree Klaus for Texas on IG and Facebook. And then on my website, DesireeKlausTX.com, where you can, that will be my website, will be dropping this month. And then all that information will be shared as well, like where you can donate and all that fun stuff too.
All right. So you heard from Danny and Desiree. Danny for District House 142, Desiree for District House 128. Okay, I didn't have my contacts on. It went up here. But Here it is, guys. You're listening. If you're just tuning in or you've been listening, you catch the tail end of this. Don't worry, this show will repeat, and it's also on all social media. So that if you haven't had a chance to hear Desiree and Danny and who they are and what they're running for, please come back and listen to the show again. Share it with your friends. Get involved. If you can vote, check your registration. Get all your papeles together so you can make sure that you can vote on voting day. And their race is on March 2026. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I got that right? March
Primaries are March 3rd, 2026, and then general election in November, I believe 3rd or 4th, 2026.
All right. So you heard it from them. Now you know who to vote for. We're not even going to talk about the other people, but this is who you need to vote for right here, because they're all about you. They're all about the people, and they're all about making sure things are done for you. Yes, that's right.
Real quick, if you're not registered to vote yet, October 6th is the last day to register. So please do so. If you have moved from your house, apartment, county, re-register, because once you move, you might not be in the system anymore. So you want to make sure you're still registered under that new address. And we have time, October 6th. Yes. So do so. It's important. And if you are registered, please check your registration. I checked mine. I checked my husband's as well, because I was like, got to make sure husband can vote for me as well. So, do that, because sometimes things get a little wonky, right? With the computer system. So you want to make sure you're registered, especially if you don't vote all the time. You want to make sure you're ready and prepared.
Yes, ma'am. You heard it. Get ready, get registered, check your registration. And I'll see you next time, because we're going to have some more conversations with candidates. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Adios.
We're going to take a picture, so don't leave. All right. Cheese. Do I take it? Liliana, are you there? She's amazing. Gracias por haber estado aquí en el show Catching Up with Claudia. ¿Ya terminamos? Okay, bye.